To go one more time.
It's likely the light of mine will burn out in the mountains where I spent my rambling years. I paid my sins from the poor traveling days. Oh Lord, please, can't you hear my prayers? So I rode my body up the mountain to a place where I can sit my rocking chair. I rode my body up the mountain, and I'm never going back again, I swear. Most likely the son of mine will be found in the mountains where I'm born and raised. I paid my duty at Sunnyside, cutie. Oh Lord, hear the sorrow in my heart. So I rode my body up the mountain to a place where I can sit my rocking chair. I rode my body up the mountain, and I'm never going back again, I swear. So I rode my body up the mountain to a place where I can sit in my rocking chair. I rode my buddy up the mountain, and I'm never going back again, I swear.
Welcome to the live stream. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the stream. We'll be with you momentarily. Well, good evening, everybody. March 4th, 2025. I think it's the third time. Let's see if it works this time. It was my fault, I think, why this didn't go through the last time, because I'm streaming on both Rumble and YouTube. On the Rumble channel, it's Tom's Trains and Tom's Trains and Things on YouTube. And what I did was I was using an old clip from back in 2017, and I put that up as a thumbnail. And unfortunately, YouTube is kind of wonky about high definition thumbnails. They only like what is it, 1280 by 720 and 1.2 megabytes or something like that. And obviously, this one was way too big. It was, even though it was from 2017, it was 1920 by 1980 by 1020 or whatever. All these numbers all confuse me. Well, you know what I mean. 1920 by 1080. But so when I went to initiate it, it says the YouTube failed to load the thumbnail. So okay. That happened one time before, and I ended up deleting everything. But this time I went back and I changed the thumbnail on YouTube, did everything that I have to, because YouTube doesn't automatically put all the stuff that you normally want to put up there, like you would if you're doing a live stream from somewhere else. So I had to fill all that in and came back and thought everything was okay, but it wasn't. Hey, Thomas Trains, good to see you in here. This is my third attempt on this one. So we're going to get it this time. But anyway, long story short, I got it figured out. I guess everything was backed up on Rumble Studio because I had to delete a lot of stuff and then redo everything. And in the process of that, I guess it took some time to delete the old stuff before it got the new stuff up, and I didn't restart Rumble Studio, and it just froze everything up in it. So now I restarted Rumble Studio, did everything over again, and hopefully it'll work this time. So I'm doing okay now. I am. I had tried this at 7 o'clock and it didn't work out too good for you. I had to make a new channel. My old phone broke. Oh, so why do you have to make a new channel for your phone to break? You just keep the same channel. Uh, okay, so anyway, uh, we're going to do an old video. I'm going to show you what I do on Tom's Trains on Rumble. I rehash my old videos that I had on YouTube many, many years ago. Like these are the ones from 2017. Hey, Easy Buds, good to see you in here. All right, there you go. All right. And let me put this one up here too. Okay, there. All right. All right. There you go. Okay. So I got them up there. But anyway, um, my videos are going up on Rumble slowly but surely. Okay, but I'm also putting in behind the scenes videos on there too, which is premium videos, and so that's what this is going to be. I'm going to show a video. It's 37 minutes long. The original one, Feeder Wires. And when I did it, the originally one, I got a lot of complaints because, oh, I can't see behind your fingers and stuff like that. So, it's hard to do, hard to do whenever, you're doing a video and trying to do instructional stuff. And, you never satisfy everybody. So, I started doing things with 2 cameras and eventually 3 cameras. So my rehash of that was in December of 2017, where I used 3 cameras, and I did a behind the scenes of how I did it because it was a Android, a Galaxy S8, a Galaxy S3, and a webcam at my old house, and I had them set up from like one over here, one in front of me, and then one on top. I think that's how it went. So whenever I was doing something, I had 3 cameras going all at once. So I edited it. I had 3 timelines. 3 cameras in the timeline, and I could choose which camera that I want in the final production. So that's what I'm showing in the behind the scenes. That video and the second video is going to go on the premium part of it. So the first part of it, you're going to be able to see. I'm going to switch over. You're going to see a blurred screen saying if you want to go over, sign into Rumble at Tom Kovichak or on this one, Tom's Trains, rumble.com/Tom's Trains. You'll be able to go over there, but you'll to go over there and see the premium part, you have to sign up for Rumble Premium. I'm going to show the second one on Rumble by itself, and then the behind the scenes on the premium. So that's my plan for tonight. I'm having an antique 1940 stainless steel Southern Pacific Railroad spike. All right, good to hear. I imagine they are rare, yes. It never rusted. It's 85 years old. It's dark silver. Okay, good to hear. All right. I'm glad you're getting all those spikes for you. There you go. So let me get this ready. In all these things that I had to go back and forth with, I didn't do the everything that I needed to for this production here. So let me do a few things here to get it ready, and I'll play the original video for you, so we can get out of here because there's a thing coming on at 9 o'clock. I don't want to hold you up here past that time. I want to get out here and watch it anyway, because you know we want to see the State of the Union address. Okay, I got a few rusted 70 spikes. I got a bunch of rusted spikes. I don't know when they're from, and I got some painted ones too. Where did I have that one over here? Yeah, I picked this up at Martin County, and this was hand painted right there on all the way around. It's got a nice little tree on that end of it. What's it say on there? Egrata Wells. So that's the artist Egrata Wells on that. So it did a nice job on painting it. Nice steam locomotive on there with a barn and some trees on the other side, and the name and the trees on the back. So I think I paid $1 for it. Go figure. At Martin County Model Railroad Club swap meet. It was back in, I think that was in January. So made out like a bandit. Easy, those are modern. If you find one that acts like it's never used, that would be stainless steel. Okay. All right. So I got this thing set up. What I first thing I want to do is I do a promotional thing here to show you what is going on Rumble, and basically they got a new program going on where you could get onto Rumble Premium and see content from other creators that you normally would have to pay like $10 for those creators individually to get on their like Louder with Crowder Mug Club, like this. You'd have to pay $10 a month or $100 a year, or Timcast IRL members only. I think that was $10 too. Russell Brand members only, $10. Well, on Rumble, you could pay the $10 premium into Rumble, and then you'll be able to see all that premium content by all those people that usually charged individually $10 a month. You'll see it all under one thing with Rumble for Rumble Premium. So that's what the good thing about it is. Let me show you this little thing right here. Hit the bell notification and then sign up for Rumble Premium. And I'm a premium creator in 2 channels, Tom Kovichak and Tom's Trains. So there you go. I got that out of the way. If you haven't done so already, smash that like button. Where did I have that thing? I always have to put this thing up here. I wish they put these in alphabetical order. Here we go. All right, smash that like button if you can. Do it gently. Hey, Derek Alexander, good to see you in here. Yeah, tomorrow night is Workbench Wednesday. We'll be on here tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. I'll probably come on a little bit early, about 7:30, get things rolling. So, get the chat rolling and everything like that. And, all the good stuff. Okay, there we go. Derek Alexander, good to see you in here. I hope you caught what I was going to do. I'm putting it on an old video, the feeder wire video from May of 2017. This is a 37-minute long video. it was all with one camera, and I got a lot of complaints on it. I'm not going to say it again. If you want to, you can go back and watch the replay on it to get the full explanation of what I did. But anyway, I made 2 videos, one in May, one in December, and then I did a behind the scenes video. We're going to show you this one right here, right now. So let me get this over here. There's the from the train room, and I'll mute my microphone and mute my camera when this thing starts
I'm
playing.
going to show you how to solder
Here we go.
your feeder wires to your track and the bus wires. Let's go. I'm Tom Kovichak, and this is Tom's Trains and Things. This channel was created to help other modelers who are in need of guidance in pursuing their dream of building their model railroad. And today we're going to do some feeder wires and bus wires. I'm going to show you how to solder it to your track and how to solder your feeder wires to your bus wires. And all I did was I took a little piece of a temporary bridge section, and I soldered the wires to it and to the feeder wires, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to do that. The reason I do it that way is because so you can see what's going on, and it's a little bit easier to do it on the bench for this demonstration with the camera and everything. It's kind of hard to get the camera underneath there and do all that and light it so you can see it. But there are 10, 15 different ways to connect your feeder wire to your track, and I'm going to show you how I solder, and I'll show you how to solder it on the bus wire also, and I will show you some connectors that I use. And if you would like to see more videos like this, or about editing, or about YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And while you're at it, go ahead and hit that bell right there. That will notify you whenever I have a new video coming out. So let's get started with this right now. We're going to do a little lesson on feeders. Now I have 20 gauge stranded wire, and on my layout I use the black and red because I get my wires at Radio Shack, and they, for some reason, don't stock white in the 20 gauge. They stock black, red, and green. So all my feeders are black and red, and where I have a reversing section, I use green. Okay, this is 14 gauge solid wire. I had some 14.2 Romex left over. I had a whole 250-foot box of it, and I had a lot left over. So what I did was I stripped the black and white wires out, threw away the ground wire. Well, I heck saved a couple of it, but I threw away most of it. But this is what I use for my bus wires, 14 gauge solid. Okay, what I'm going to show you how to do is how to solder the 20 gauge onto the track. And I have a section of track here that I had. This is an old lift out section that I had, and we'll show you on here. I'm going to do everything on the bench because it's a little bit hard to climb under there with a camera and everything and videotape underneath the layout. So everything's going to be right here on the bench. I have a wire brush. I have a little tool for soldering. I have rosin soldering flux. I have 2 sizes of rosin core solder, 6040, 32 thousandths for the feeder wires on the track, and 50 thousandths for the feeder wire to the bus wires. I'll show you alternate methods also. Now, there's a company that is now supplying a little circuit board, or what is it? Their little slogan is suitcases are for traveling, not for model railroading. And they put these little terminals, which are made for circuit boards. They put it on a printed circuit board so you could splice your wires underneath your layout onto them. And, this is pretty easy, just, with a flathead screwdriver. I use these. These are available at Home Depot and Lowe's, I think. And they come in 4-conductor and 3-conductor. The only thing about this is, okay, when you have a stranded wire, it's a little hard to push it in there, even when it's tinned. You're supposed to be able to get these out by just twisting, but I'm having a little trouble with it there. But what I normally do is I use these whenever I have 2 or more feeder wires. What I do is I solder them together and then push it in there, and it makes it a little bit easier to go in. And I think you could see on this one end, that's what was originally in there, because you see this wire here, and then there's some strands from the other wire. So it's a lot easier to do with 2 feeder wires, and you'll run into a lot of locations where you have turnouts where you're going to have multiple feeder wires going up to your track. The other thing I do is I solder it to there. And with that, you need a heavier solder. You could use the thinner solder, but it still works but the heavier solder is easier. You'll need a cordless drill to drill some holes. And what I do is I put it as close to the track as I could get it and drill holes straight down through there. And a soldering iron. This is an Unger soldering iron. And what I like about this is, and don't do this while it's plugged in. See, it's not plugged in right now. But the tip is replaceable. And the heating element is replaceable. And this is a 33-watt heating element on there. And this is what I do most of my soldering with. And sometimes I have a heavier tip than this and to do it on the bus wires, but we're going to try to do it on the bus wires with this tip also. I use this for the feeders and the bus in this demonstration. And the holder with a sponge soaked in water. And the needle nose pliers and the strippers. This is a stripper, goes from 10 gauge to 20 gauge, so I could strip both of these wires with these strippers. Okay, I measured the outside diameter of the wire, the insulation on the wire, and it is approximately 1/16 of an inch. And so I have a 3/32 inch drill bit, and a wonderful tool if you've ever done any Campbell scale models. They send you this card with it, which has the decimal equivalents to all your drill sizes. And on the flip side, you have prototypical dimensions and NHO, S, and O scale. This is a pretty good conversion chart if you have digital calipers, or if you have any kind of calipers that go in decimals, inches, or like this. Now this is inches, and you could also do millimeters. But I do it in inches, but the only thing in inches. Now they do have some that show you the fraction. This one just shows you the decimal measurement. It's a good tool to have, And years ago, I bought the one, well, actually I had two of them because I lost one and then I found it later after I bought another one, which happens a lot. But it was the one where you read the scale on the back of it and have to line up the lines. Well, when you get a little bit older, it's kind of hard to line up those lines anymore. So I recommend the digital ones. But anyway, this is a 16th and this is a 3/32 drill bit. So that's what we're going to do the holes with, and that'll give us enough room to wiggle this around. If you get any closer, you could do it tighter, but I wouldn't recommend it unless you're using that to hold it in place. But you could always, when you get down to the bottom, just curve your wire like that, and that will hold it in place. Okay, I'm just going to pick a spot on here, down in the middle somewhere, and we'll just drill a hole. Now this is going to drill into my workbench also, but that's all right. Okay, that sounds like all the way. Let me hold this down like that and pull it out. Okay, and we'll go right across and drill down on this. Now I could use a power cordless drill, but I have this, and this is what I usually do, and I use the power cordless drill for something else. Now I'll take it off the clamp. Okay, and look, okay, we're all the way through, so let's make sure. Okay. Put this through there like that. It goes all the way through. It goes all the way through. All right, we got that part done. What I'm going to do is strip both these wires so we could tin them. And this is a number 20, so I'll come up this end. And I'll do it a little bit longer than what I need, and then, you know, I'll just trim the fat off of it. Okay. And I'll just twist it a little bit. Makes it a little bit easier. And what I'll do is on the black wire, since I'm going to be doing soldering that to the bus wire, I'm going to take some off of it, and I'm going to do quite a bit on there, because what I want to do is I want to wrap it around the bus wire. Okay. Twist it a little, and then, all right. So that should be enough. If it's not, then we could strip some more off later. Okay, in the center of the bus wire, I'm going to do it two different ways. I'm going to do it with this. I'm going to do it there. And that's 14. I'll strip maybe just a little bit under an inch out of it. All right, now see, I stripped it on both sides. So we're just going to take our utility knife, or X-Acto blade, and come down here like that. And we have a surface right there where we could solder. I've let my soldering iron get hot. And here's the black. Put a little bit of flux on the black, and put a little bit of flux on the red wire. All right.
Now, I normally have the soldering station to my right since I'm right-handed, but since it's right in camera view, I'm not able to do that. But I just put a little bit of flux on there, and there's already flux on the wire. Now, there's different ways that you could do this, and I usually put a little bit of solder on the tip and just put it up to the wire, let it get hot. And it'll flow right in there. Okay. Now let me do the black one. I dipped it in the flux. We'll do this side, and then we'll turn it over and do the other side. I like to have a paper towel handy and just wipe it off in between. And so I'll just stick a little bit of solder on there. And then just come over here. And the solder will just run back on the wire. Now I'm going to do the other side of the black. We're going to tin that, and that's a little bit over 1 inch, and that should be enough. And I'll just stick that in there. Get some flux on it. And put this here. And this is a handy little tool to keep your hands free when you're soldering something. And I'll put some solder on here. I don't know if it'll be enough to go all the way back, but we'll give it a try. And I'll just put it on there. And it's running back. I'm going to help it out a little. We're all the way back. Okay. That's that part of it. And we'll let that sit for a minute, and we'll get the track ready. I mounted the track on an angle here so you can see it a little bit better. And I got to move this just a little bit out of the way. All right, here's our hole right here. Okay. Now I'm taking a rat tail file. Just clean up the track a little bit with the rat tail file. And I'm going to go on the other side where the hole is. You might not be able to see it with my hand in the way. All right. All right, I have some alcohol right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put that on the track just in case there's any shavings or anything like that on there, and just clean it up a little bit. And this is the handy dandy all-purpose tool. You get these for I use it for gluing, and once they get hard, I use them for everything else, for soldering and everything. I just wiped it off, and I'm going to put a little bit of flux on it. And I'm going to put some over here on the track, not very much, and then on the back side. Now, the trick on the back side is once you get a little bit of experience, you could solder without a mirror, how to solder that way. Now, on here, I'm going to feed the wire down that way from the top down. And I have, I cut a little bit more than I needed, and that's so okay, I have to see so I could cut it. And then what I do is
I'll put a bend in it with the needle nose. Okay, and you see there's a little bend in that. And what I'll do is I'll just drop it down here through there. And I'll work with it with the needle nose. Now this is, normally you wouldn't have anything down there unless you had close quarters on the bottom.
Over the foam.
And most of this is going to get covered up when you ballast your track. Now, I have that like that. And what we'll do, take our soldering iron and get a little bit of solder, and we'll just put it on the iron. And that should be enough to solder that wire onto there. And we'll just go set it on there like this. And the solder should run right in there. And give it a chance to cool down a little bit. And hit the tie just a little bit, but we could handle that. Now, that was one bend on there. With the black one, I'm going to show you another bend. And what we're going to do, we're going to bend it here and that way. So we're going to need a little more. So this is the part that's going to be up against the track. And then we'll take our needle nose and we'll bend it down like that. And so you have two bends in it. And I'm going to cut just a little bit off of it. You can see the bends in there. And I'm going to make it just a little bit smaller. Okay, so that's it. So it's going to sit on the track like this, and that's going to lay on the track. So we'll put that down through there. And I'll pull it over this way. We're going to try to do it without the mirror here. And if all else fails, we'll go and get the mirror. So I have to take a good look at it. Excuse my head. Now this is where, and I'm going to have to lift this up to show you, but to get it tight, okay, you see it's sitting there on the track. Let me get it over a little bit closer. I need to bend it just a little bit more to get it on the track. But to hold it in place underneath, just bend your wire, and that'll hold your wire in place when you want to solder it. So we're going to take it like this, and I'm going to try to do it without looking at it, and I hope I don't poke my eye on the red wire that's sticking up there. Okay, and this is going to be, now let me see if I can get this so you could still see it. And we'll put that right on there. And let the solder flow down in there. we'll take a look at it. Okay, so there's that solder joint without being able to see. And then we'll have to clean that up a little bit. And then here's the other solder joint where I only did one turn on it, but I ended up hitting a tie on there. So what we're going to do, I'm going to take some of that alcohol and dab it around a little bit. Wouldn't it be wonderful if it was all like this, where you could turn your layout to suit the way you're sitting? But anyway, just go over that with the paper towel. Now I moved the soldering iron out of the way so you could see this a little bit better. And this is your feeder wire underneath the layout. Now I'm doing it right here so I could film it real easy. But we tinned the black wire. It makes it a little bit more stiff. So we're going to take it and we're going to go around. And so you can see how that is right there. I'm going to take our needle nose and just try to get that a little bit closer on the end. Okay. Now, this is the part that you want to solder right here. Okay, but you got a 14 gauge and you have a 20 gauge. So it's going to take longer for the 14 gauge to heat up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount this on the thing, because normally your feeder wire or your bus wire is going to be connected at both ends, where at least, you know, it'll be rigid so you don't have to hold it. So I'm going to have to hold it with some tweezers. I have this held with the tweezers. And what I'm going to do is put a generous amount of flux on these wires right here. I'm not going to overdo it because you get all kind of smoke and everything. I'm just going to make sure that that's good right there. All right, wipe some of that off. I'm going to take the 50 thousandths rosin core solder. I'm going to put a little bit on here. And I'm also going to hold it on there. So we're going to put it right there and let that heat up. And let the heat go back so it will heat on the back side. Okay, so there we go. Now once you have it like that, once it cools down a little bit, you got to make sure that your solder goes all the way through and into your 14 gauge bus wire. Okay, now that looks pretty good. I don't think that's going anywhere. I'm just going to take this sponge that I used for the soldering station and just wipe it down here. Now this was very easy to do since it was on the bench, but when you're underneath your layout looking up at the bus wires, it's a different story. It's a little bit harder, and you have to be careful that you don't drip any solder on yourself, or if you have a carpeted floor or anything, get the solder on the floor. Always be very careful while you're doing that. Now I'm only going to show you the one because that's all the wire that I had left over, and I wasn't about to go out and buy even a 10-foot roll of Romex, which is extremely expensive now. If your bus wires are short, say like if you're working on a module, you could put shrink tubing on there and cover it up. But I run, mine's on a layout, and I run the bus wires as long as I can. And the only time that I separate it is for troubleshooting points. And what I'll do is I'll run the bus wire up to a terminal and then continue on. But if they're short enough and you could do it, you could put the shrink tubing on there and heat it up, and it'll make a nice solid, good looking joint. If you don't, you could always use electrical tape. Now I use the Scotch electrical tape. The cheaper tapes I've tried, and they're no good. They'll unravel. Scotch, I think it's 66 plus or whatever it is. I'm not sure what the number is, but I've used that and just wrap it around there, and that's good enough to cover it. And in some spots, on my layout, I leave them uncovered because it's a good solder joint, and just make sure that I'm not going to foul either one of the bus lines against each other. Whenever I have an end, okay, I'll use these connectors like I showed you before, but that's normally where, I'll have more than just one of the feeder wires because it's extremely hard to push them in, even when they're tinned. It takes a lot of finesse to get them in there without bending them while you're doing it. Now, at the end of a module or for troubleshooting, you could use these right here, these connectors. These originally are for when you're changing ballast. They'll take 18 gauge wire, solid wire, and you push it in there for your connection. I wish I had these when I was working because I had to use wire nuts to splice the wires in on fluorescent fixtures. But anyway, this is good because you just push it in and that's it. It's on there. It's not going anywhere. So that's good for your bus wires, and you can't mix up one with the other. I mean, you can't put a black on a white because it won't fit. So it'll look like that. One more thing that I'd like to share. Okay, if you get this type of flux, it's sticky when it's dry, when it gets on these threads right here. Okay, and it'll make it absolutely impossible to tighten back up or to take off. So what you do, this little deal of alcohol right here, you wipe along the threads to clean it off. And you can do that on the inside of, also in the cap. Just go around it to clean the excess dried up flux that's on there. And simple as that. There you go. Piece of cake.
Now that was pretty simple. I mean, it doesn't take much to solder your wires to your track or to your bus wires. The more you do it, the easier it is going to be. The main thing you want to make sure is to keep your soldering iron clean. I wipe it off in between with a paper towel. You could use a sponge like I have on that station where I hold the soldering iron, or you could even soak your paper towel with alcohol and wipe it. And then when you're finished, use the wire brush to clean it off to get all the excess deposits off of the tip. Like I said earlier, there's many different ways. I'm just showing you the ways that I do it. If you ask 10 modelers how they solder to their track, you're going to get 12 or 13 different ways of doing it. So that's my 2 ways of doing it. If you would like to see more videos like this or about YouTube or about editing, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You know why? Because it's free. You don't have to pay a thing to hit that subscribe button, or you don't have to pay a thing to watch the videos. And while you're at it, hit that little bell right next to it, and that'll inform you whenever I have a new video coming out. Go ahead and check out my webpage, tomstrainsandthings.com. You could support this channel by going to that page. I have some links on there where you could support me. Also,
No
PayPal
longer
me.
there.
Tom's Trains and Things. You could support me that way. And leave some comments down below. I like to read your comments and I answer all of them. And you could talk to other modelers and carry on a conversation like that. Tell your friends about it. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs down. Share the video. I will be coming out with the DS64 and the PM42, how to program those 2 items.
Okay, that's about enough of that. All right. So that was from 2017. Long time ago, don't you think? All right. So I did another one later that year. I'm going to show that over on the Rumble side. So if you want to go over to Rumble, head on over there. It's rumble.com/tomstrains, and that'll get you over to Rumble where you'll see the next video that I did in December 2017, where I used 3 cameras. You know, looking back at this, it didn't look like there was too many instances in there where you couldn't see what was going on, but maybe, because I'm experienced at it, I don't really look at it that close. But I had a lot of complaints about that video saying that they couldn't see what was going on. It said my hands was in the way all the time. That's why I made a new video. So I'm going to send this on over to Rumble only. I'm going to put the swirly smoke up for you on here to get you out of here. But if you want to, go on over to Rumble and get in the chat over there. And I'm going to play the other video. It's about, let me see how long it is. It's about 19 and a half minutes long. It's an updated version of it with my new soldering station. We'll be showing it on there. And then after that, I'm going to lock it up and put it on premium for the behind the scenes video where I show how I edited everything on there. So let me put the swirly smoke in there. Thanks for stopping in and participating in everything here. I really appreciate it. Okay, make sure you wipe the excess flux off the rails. I will discolor them, and yeah, and it also, what I usually do is I rub it down with alcohol. Take the alcohol and it gets it off really fast. And what else? As an electrician, I keep various sizes of Romex around for side jobs and my own house. Yeah, that's what, I'm glad I picked up the Romex. But I guess when I first moved in here, because I mean, it just practically doubled in price. So I always use, yeah, I was an electrician a long time ago. Always not doing houses or anything like that, but I was an electrician on the railroad and, you know, and industrial electrician in, doing stuff inside buildings and stuff like that where I worked. So, uh, uh, knew the advantages of Romex and all that other good stuff. So, uh, I can't believe how expensive that shit is now. Okay. Good night, everyone from Michigan. All right. See you later. I'm going to swirl you out of here and send everybody over to Rumble if you want to head on over there. That's where I'll be doing the rest of this stuff. And let me get the swirly smoke thing over here. Swirl me out of here. Okay. Thank you all for stopping in. We'll see you.
Engineer, where are you headed? Carry me back to Tennessee. Oh, I got a little girl who's been waiting. Promised that she'd marry me. Mister, can we leave this heat? I'll shovel coal, Lord, to pay my fate. Gotta get this train down to the station. My little girl waiting for me. Oh, the night is dark and Lord, it's cloudy. I've been traveling that lonesome road. My one true love waiting to see. Won't that low train carry me back? About 9, that poor boy's heart started overheating, sending all of his love on down. Oh, the night is dark and Lord is bright. I've been traveling this lonesome road. I want true love waiting there to see. That long old train back. See me. Oh, that long old train, won't you carry me? Oh, train, train, train,
Won't you
carry me home?
Good night, everybody. We'll see you again next time. Don't forget Workbench Wednesday tomorrow, and we're heading on over to Rumble now.